Okay guys, so I finished my madness and I'm basically gonna go through it with you so that you see how it's my thought process when I'm preparing for an exam. I took 30 minutes to do this because this helps me so much when I'm preparing for any exam, but mostly this type of exam that has a lot of information. So what I did is basically write down all the lectures we have done, and I'm gonna explain all the writing that I have here and that. So these 2 pages are all the lectures we're supposed to know, all the knowledge we're supposed to gain. So I personally went to all of the lectures, and that's good for me because at least I have seen all of this material at least once. I have been exposed to it. I have familiarity, but that doesn't mean I know it. So that's why we have to study a lot. So what I did is go through each of them and see which ones I need to cover in the sense of summarizing. When I need to summarize, that means I really need to go into the actual lecture and summarize it. Or others, I have OneNote written on the side of them, you see. And OneNote means that I already did some notes for them and I already have studied them apart from going to lecture. So for example, the first one is Intro to Infectious Diseases. Those microbes that were studied there, I covered them with sketchy videos. Same for viral examples, geographic infections. I have to review them, and you see I make a note here saying make sure to have them all, because for some of them I have some of the box and some of them I left out. So I want to make sure I have all of them that were introduced to us during this lecture. Travel infections, I have them in OneNote, so that means I have them there. And what I'll be doing for the ones that I already reviewed, like those, are questions. I will be doing questions for the ones that I have notes for. Infectious arthritis I have a note for. ENT infections I have a note for. Antimicrobial resistance is not going to be tested because we already took a pharma quiz that included this, and the professor said we're not including any pharmacology in the exam because we were already tested. Agents of bioterrorism, I have a OneNote, but I have to make sure all of them are there too. So that's extra work I have to do. Vaccination, I do have to review. I'm gonna do a boot camp for video on it. So I kind of classified each lecture on what I will do to review them. Sexually transmitted diseases, for example, I have a OneNote. So basically I wrote all of the different categories. So infectious, immunological diseases, rheumatology diseases, here's hematologic diseases, derm, and ophthalmology. That's all that my exam is going to include. And basically here on the side of each category I put how many questions there are going to be, and thankfully our professor tells us how many questions from each session there's going to be, because we put more emphasis on specific content. So infectious is a big one. You guys can see it's 28 questions, so that's a lot. And then also immunological disease is a lot, it's 26. And now you can see rheumatology is only 12. And heme, with all of the heme cancers, is 14. Dermatology is 5 questions, and ophthalmology is 5 questions. So what I do with these that are a few lectures, but only a few questions are going to be in the exam, is basically allocate less time for them. So ophthalmology lectures are going to be done tomorrow, right before the exam. So we haven't covered any of these. These are tomorrow's lectures, so I'm going to try to pay attention as much as I can tomorrow, so that I only had to do light review for these during on Thursday. But basically for derm, I went to all of the lectures, and what I have to do for this is just questions. Why? Because this is just recognizing a picture, and it's a lot of material, but I feel like I'm just gonna go through those images and see if I can recognize them, and also do questions on UWorld or something like that. For the hematology, I have reviewed a lot, but except for the ones that said summarize and summarize, those are the ones that I need to go back to the lectures and do a summary, just because I think those were really good lectures that are worth summarizing in a sense of my own little guideline, and that helps me. So I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4 summaries for that category, and the rest, as you can see, OneNote, I already have notes for them. So basically I'll be doing a lot. These cancer drugs and principle of chemotherapy, we don't have to, because that's not going to be tested. We already got tested on that. And this lecture I have to watch today is the only one that I haven't because it was recorded, so that's what I'm gonna do tonight. That way I am done with all of the material for the exam, and the only thing I have left is tomorrow's lecture. Now for this room is my favorite part, of course, as you might know from my other videos. What I'm gonna do is finish the Maricosis Perfectionalis playlist for these diseases. RA, lupus, I got it down. Like I think I'm an expert already at lupus in the sense of what I need to know. So basically, but for RA, Sjogren's and systemic sclerosis, I need to watch some videos for that. This is just an overview lecture, and then the vasculitis video I have a note already. I have to summarize the inflammatory myopathies. These are lectures that I already watched, but I need to do a summary because I feel like doing my own little notes of it will be good. And then this is not gonna get tested because it's farm. So as you guys can see, these 3 lectures I went to them, but are very, very heavy lectures that I need to kind of review and summarize and fill in those gaps that I have for those diseases. I think those are gonna be very high GL for the exam. As you can see, it's 26 questions, so I have to get going. For HIV/AIDS, I already got it down, I think, so I'll just do questions. So for all of the ones that have one note, I'm just gonna do questions all throughout. So yeah, guys, I'm sorry if this was like a long excerpt of video, but I just wanted you to see how I organize my exam. And based on these that I just did with all of my lectures, I basically organized the time that I have, which is basically 1.5 days only before the exam. As you can see, tomorrow we have the lectures in person, which I'm gonna go. Those are ophthalmology lectures. And then after, I divide my time based on the category. So I'm gonna do infectious, then immunological, then rheum. Then the next day, wake up, go to school to study, do hematology, do infectious, do dermatology. Only one block for dermatology, as you can see, because it's so little questions. It's only 5 questions are gonna be there. Then immunological, then rheumatology, and then hematology. This is just questions, you see, because I'm all about like doing questions before so that I'm used to them. And then in the morning, I'm gonna do my last little review of ophthalmology, just 5 questions on this one, so that's why I'm leaving it for the last minute. And then I have my exam and I'll be done. We'll see. I have a party.